think Shinwoo. So I think Shinwoo and I have a great relationship. You know, he's someone I'll always cheer for.
I thought you were going to compare your team to his, so I'm sorry. I was going to like stop you right there. But okay.
Oh, do you not see a lot of?
I don't see many similarities. No, I don't. But please continue.
I think
I don't get how you can make lineup decisions when you're just doing drugs and getting high all the time. So
we were at a poker table and forgot we even had a playoff game, to be honest with you. But Scott,
you guys can take this too. But honestly, I think the whole injury thing is overblown. I think when he values his players very highly. I think that's good for him. Sometimes I don't agree. It's irrational. It doesn't make any sense. It's just like betting for the heroes to make the playoffs. It hasn't happened yet. Why would history change?
What Ryan's saying, go in one ear out the other. And that,
well, I think as much as like Chris was scoring points, Cody wasn't.
Indeed. There you go. Get rid of those crumbs. I love it. I love it.
Scott. I don't care about being the first team to 100 wins, which will happen next year. Some wins away, by the way. I don't care.
You know, maybe he didn't. He this past off season he wasn't with enough moms.
I do think Zach Wilson's ability with moms is pretty prodigious. But while
it's where for every mom your player bangs, you get 100 points. Has it passed yet? We'll find out.
I'll ask you a question here. Who was the last Olympic fourth place medal?
I couldn't even name the second place. Fans around the world, we would like to welcome you to the Gotham City Press Conference, December 30th, 2022. We have an amazing group of guests tonight. First up on our panel, our very esteemed panel, as we get to the final four of our season, Mr. Mike Vick in a box himself, Austin Dwyer. Welcome, Austin.
Hey, how's it going?
Real good, sir. Good to have you here. Yes. Next up, the mighty owner of the mighty green machine, Mr. Alex Boydock himself. Well, fans, if you might have heard that boo in the background, you can tell who that classy person is. Let's introduce him next, our commish, the Rye Bread owner himself, Mr. Ryan Smith.
Thank you for the applause. I can hear it all the way from your homes.
And finally, we have a very, very, very special guest tonight. A quick story before I introduce him. I was in a poker game the other night, and on Pardon the Interruption, they were having a lively debate. Would it be harder to go undefeated in a season or go winless in a season? And honestly, the panel was back and forth 50-50. But this guy I'm about to introduce accomplished one of those goals, and frankly, folks, he made it look easy. Mr. Scott Horning, owner of the Dynasty Champions. Well, guys, now that we're all here, I mean, Ryan, I'm going to start with you as the commish.
Yeah.
We're down to the final four. Were these the final four teams you expected?
I think I did make some predictions earlier in the season, and yeah, I'm not surprised at all. You know, the Beasts, an esteemed franchise, 3 championships. Of course, they're going to make the playoffs. We don't even have to talk about my own team, obviously.
Oh, we will. We will.
Well, we can talk about it, but we already know they're going to make the playoffs. The Green Machine, you know, they've been a strong team. They've been coming up the last couple of years. And I know the Green Machine is hungry for a championship. You know, they were in Super Bowl II, and then they kind of went downhill. They came back up, you know, and they have a hot team kind of. So I could see them making the playoffs. So not surprising the Koalas, again, a friend of the Rye Bread organization. Not surprised they made the playoffs. And I'm also not surprised he didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, well, that seems like a shot, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll get to that. Alex, how about you? Surprised at the Final Four?
No, not really. You know, the Beast and the Bread have always been there. You know, you and me have kind of flirted with it a few times.
Right.
Happy to finally kind of get in the Final Four. Get my second shot at Super Bowl.
Well,
year.
Speaking of Final Fours and predictions, before the season, Austin, you had a prediction for the Rye Bread organization. Did it come true?
No, not quite. I think it was pretty close, you know. Yeah.
Well, maybe you can expound. What did you predict for them?
Well, I was predicting an 11th place finish.
11th, he says.
And when you look at the standings, I mean, Rye Bread obviously only made it in the last game of the season, off a lot of luck, I'd say. But the 11th place team had 5 wins. Everyone else, 10 teams with 6 wins and above. There was a lot of parity this year.
Yeah.
I think Christian Watson did a lot better than I expected. That's probably where the error there
For sure.
that I made. But I think it was pretty close in the end. A lot of people, one win goes a different way, and they're in or out of the playoffs this year.
Agreed. So, Scott, you had a tough year. To be fair to you, you've got a lot of salary cap space for next year. You've got some young players on your team that are blossoming already. You've got a good outlook. But what do you think about the Final Four?
I'm kind of surprised at the Final Four, and I'm not very excited for it either. I'll give you a compliment that, I think the Koalas had a great season. I was cheering for you to win the championship, but I can, if I had to pick 3 teams, my 3 least favorite teams, it'd be the others in the Final Four. So I certainly don't want the Rye Bread or the Beast to win again. No one wants that in the league. I think I speak on behalf of everyone.
So let me interrupt you real quick. The Green Machine are known as one of the more classy organizations. Would you be rooting for him to win then?
Yeah, unwill. It's almost like, if like 10 years ago the Blackhawks and Red Wings played each other, as a Blues fan, it's like I don't really care, but.
So he's the lesser of 2 evils, so to
The
speak?
lesser of 2 evils, yeah. So Green Machine, I'll give you my vote, but I don't really like him.
Well, that's a ringing endorsement, fans. I tell you what, let's go to the 3rd place game, the Beast. And by the way, Beast, if you're out there listening, we're in the Beast Mansion right now. So thank you for offering this for your press conference here. But the Beast and the Koalas, any predictions? I know that the Beast are having some injury concerns, but I will point out, I did go 9-5 without Cooper Kupp and Darnell Mooney. So I've got my own injury concerns. Still win. What do you guys think? Who's going to win that game? I'll start with you, Ryan.
Yeah, when I look at this game, I see the Beasts absolutely falling off of a cliff as opposed to where they were earlier in the season. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but we saw the recent video in the Discord.
Yeah.
And they're out on the California beach. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Beasts looked like they may have been smoking some of that California weed.
Yeah, his eyes were looking a little bit funny. You're right.
Yeah, so I don't get how you can make lineup decisions when you're just doing drugs and getting high all the time. So, the Koalas, on the other hand, obviously are very, very sober, and you can see that in their lineup decisions. Going Geno Smith and Herbert. I don't even see a quarterback on the Beast roster right now. No offense, Beast, but it's not looking good.
Actually, Carson Wentz might make an appearance as well for me. Who knows? Because he's starting again. Austin, what do you think? 3rd place game.
I think I might have to give an edge to you here as well. Just a lot of that team has relied on Lamar Jackson, who's been out for a while,
And Derrick Henry.
and Derrick
Big
Henry
loss.
sitting, and even Mark Andrews. Without Lamar, he has not been very good. He went from tight end 2 to maybe even a stream play.
Yeah.
So I think when that's such a big part of your team, don't have those guys. It's going to be rough for you.
Alex?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the train going and gotta go against the Boy Docs on this one, but it's been rough for the Beasts, and they're rolling out, Devontae Adams without his buddy Derek Carr, and he's got Chuba Hubbard in his RB spot right now as a replacement for Derrick Henry. Things, it might be a stretch to get 130. So, but I mean, the Koalas and the Beasts both showed last week they didn't show up, so hopefully at least one of the teams shows up this week.
We were at a poker table. Forgot we even had a playoff game, to be honest with you. But Scott, what do you think? Who's going to win?
Gotta go with the Koalas. So, the way I take the Beast being in California right now is an early vacation. I mean, vacations are for the off season. You go to the beach during the off season. There's still work to be done for the Beast. So, I guess he called it quits after the semifinal game, and
Yeah, calling it quits. Now, calling it quits on, what did he go? What was his record in the regular season? 13-1. So, Ryan, would you consider the Beast season to be the biggest collapse in league history, the way it's going now?
I would definitely say that if there wasn't a team called the Heroes Dynasty Deserves in our league that I want to say it was 2016, 2017. Start off 5-7-0. Don't make the playoffs.
Okay.
I mean,
We wish the heroes were here, by the way. A fantastic owner in Brendan Ritchie. We also know that every year, most of his best players get hurt. Even with that, he still finishes around 500, amazingly. He's a fantastic owner, fantastic team. Let me ask you this. The year that happened to him, did most of his guys get hurt at the end of the year? Or was it a true issue of bad coaching?
you guys can take this too, but honestly, I think the whole injury thing is overblown. I think when you draft players, man, you gotta look at their injury history and you gotta look at their fragility too. And I think the heroes need to take some responsibility for their team.
Austin?
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the times, there's some bad injuries that you can't help, but a lot of the times, how many times did we heard about Kenny Galladay and then he got hurt again? That at some point, that's not really a surprise. And I think you got to take that into account.
Alex?
Yeah, I don't know if there's much more to add there.
Yeah. Well, once again, Brendan's not in the playoffs. Is that what you would say to sum it up, Scott?
Yeah, I kind of agree with three people before me. You gotta everyone deals with injuries. Like all teams do. So I guess you can complain about it, or you can just push through, draft better free agents.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta account for it. So like going into next season for Brendan, do you expect Trey Lance to be there for a full season? Is that going to be a reliable starter for you all year? He could get hurt. He may not even start if he's
Right.
healthy. So, who knows with Brady's?
Well, before we get, and by the way, I vote for the Koalas in the third place game too, so that's a clear 5-0 against the Beast on the prediction.
First playoff win.
Well, some are calling me the Marty Schottenheimer for you old timers of fantasy football. That's all right. Good regular seasons usually, and then fail in the playoffs. We'll fix that this time because we're not going to play poker the night before as a team. All right, before we get to the first place game, the Super Bowl, we are going to talk about some other owners real quick as a group. Alex, I'm going to start with you. How do you explain what happened to Mr. Yount and Patrick? Going from the top all the way down to, did he even show up this year?
He was here, somewhat relevant in a few, games. What do you have? 6 wins, I think. In the season was kind of on that borderline, 6-spot conversation a few times. But I guess you could talk about injury concern a little bit. And you had Winston and Stafford, and then Debo and Chase kind of missed out. So a little bit of a kind of a variance that in the wrong direction for him this year. But I don't know, just kind of a weak quarterback room to start, and that kind of dealt him in. That I think most weeks he might have been starting one quarterback.
Right.
Definitely by week 10 of the year. So.
Well, Austin, do you think he even cared? Do you think he was just partying all year, little hangover? Do you think he cared?
I think he cared. I just wonder if he's kind of been pushing off. He's taken that approach, like Alex was touching on a bit. He doesn't have a lot of quarterbacks, but he took Jamar Chase 2 years ago, who was the best player available, but not really addressing his needs.
Yeah.
He made the trade with Ryan. Questionable results, but Christian Kirk certainly did well. I know some people said that he should have been dropped, but I think he's been doing pretty well.
Right.
But obviously, Clyde Edwards-Helaire has not paid off. I think he's been making some risky plays. Some worked out, some didn't. And then when you have everything built, I feel like you need everything to go right. And
I would agree with that. That's a really good point. And you bring up another interesting topic. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Scott, do you think that was really an amazing play by Ryan to get rid of him at the time he did?
I don't understand what some of the owners have done this season in trading with Rye Bread. I think each trade that has been made with Ryan, I think to myself, what were you thinking? And now that's coming. I don't have a lot of room to talk because that has happened to me.
DeAndre Hopkins.
with Odell, and probably the list goes on and on. But
I'll say
I
DeAndre
guess,
helped me quite a bit. this year.
Okay, yeah, no, and
And
I was just
Gino.
talking about, Gino.
Yeah,
and-
talk about the Gino and DeAndre trade while you're flapping your lips over there.
and I was just talking about,
How's the river looked?
the history between you and I making trades. So everyone's got to learn their lesson trading with Ryan at some point. But yeah, Nick, hold on a second. Desmond Ritter is looking fine.
He is. He really is.
He's
got
all
a
right.
good
He's gonna
future.
hang in there. So
Let me stop you for a second. Let's move on to another owner that unfortunately couldn't be here. Madden's Ultimate Team, another fantastic owner, Mr. Johnny Watson. Austin, can you touch on the fact that he has a reputation to be a little bit of a swindler as a trader himself?
I think he's cooled down a bit on the trades, but we have had some talks. I think he knows how to capitalize on some desperation, and he values his players very highly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good for him. Sometimes I don't agree, but I think he definitely has the most experienced trader in our league, and he's made some good deals. I'd say mostly good deals, and it's helped him out a lot. But I think with this team he has right now, he's got to get on the phone and make a lot more of them.
And yet he's playing the toilet bowl.
Yes.
So Ryan, what do you think? Does Scott have any hope against Madden?
Well, let me touch. I do have something to say about
Yes.
Madden's Ultimate Team and just what is going on with that franchise. You know, like when your team is going downhill, you just kind of know it. You're going over the cap. You don't have young players. You don't have
They're
draft
old.
picks.
They're definitely old.
You have a couple options as an owner. You can either jump in the deep end, into the cold water, make it happen fast, or you can inch your way in and suffer through a demise. And I hate to say it, but I think that's what Madden's Ultimate Team is doing. It's a slow burn. I don't think they're getting better anytime soon. I wouldn't be surprised if the DC's upset the Ultimate Team this week.
Wow, you heard it here first. Let me ask Alex, if you were Madden's Ultimate Team, you've got the ultimate end-all be-all quarterback, in my opinion, Patrick Mahomes. Would you consider dumping him and restart if you were him?
I wouldn't. I don't think I'd dump him. I think he's the guy to build around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can clear out the rest of them, like Zeke, and as the Denver Broncos probably want to do, get Russell Wilson off your team. But I mean, yeah, he hasn't made a trade since 2021, so the slow burn is kind of right. Some of those guys are aging, and like Camaro is kind of peaking a little bit. Elliott had already kind of peaked, and I mean, there's still a few pieces there. With you can start with Metcalf and Mahomes, and he's got draft picks this year.
But really the question is, will anybody trade with him after his swindling ways of his past? So, next topic. I have a big place in my heart for another owner I'm going to bring up next, Mr. Shenmue Mun of the Moon Dynasty. So, Scott, would you agree with me? He is arguably in a position to have the most talented young roster in our league right now.
I think Shenmue. So I think Shenmue and I have a great relationship. He's someone I'll always cheer for.
I thought you were going to compare your team to his, so I'm sorry. I was going to stop you right there. But okay.
Oh, do you not see a lot of?
I don't see many similarities. No, I don't. But
Well,
please continue.
I think Shenmue's done a wonderful job. Just in terms of a dynasty league, like the way his roster is currently constructed is exactly what you would want if you're looking for like young cheap guys. He has plenty of rookie, second year, third year guys that are cheap and very good.
And
so
good.
I think I think he'll be a force to reckon with for a long time to come. I'll pass him up next year, most likely, but
I'm going to stop you there. Ryan, please continue.
Yeah, I mean, the Mun Dynasty, I like that team too. And, I made a trade involving Jared Goff a couple of years ago where essentially on my end, I gave away Goff, and in return I had the condition to swap first-round picks for 2 seasons. And I could essentially choose for each year if I wanted Shinmu's or Scott's first-round picks. And I obviously chose correctly in 2024, where I'll be receiving the Dynasty Champions pick. But then again, I chose the Mun Dynasty's 2025. And kind of looking at that now, I don't know if that was a good decision. It might be. I mean, of course, I'll be up there, 11, 12. But you'll probably be right up there too. So I could have got a lot more value with that one. I like the future of the Mun Dynasty.
Austin?
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of talent. I don't think he's got got enough to stop me from winning my second straight consolation bowl. But his running backs look really good.
Mm-hmm.
His quarterbacks, they've showed a lot of promise. Justin Fields is turning into a fantasy monster. Tua struggling of late, but definitely flashed why he was so highly valued. And other than that, I mean, he's got some decent wide receivers, but even then, he's got two lottery picks at first.
Right.
So he's got plenty of time to add some depth, which he definitely needs.
And he's drafting better, in my opinion, the past year or two, obviously. So those could turn out to be quite good for him. Alex, I'm going to move on to you, a different owner now. Again, sorry you cannot be with us, Mr. Krispy Kreme owner himself, Christopher Boydock of the Boydock Mafia. Alex, Chris had what I think all of us here would consider a stunning season in the regular season. All of us predicted his team to be probably 10th or lower. How do you think he pulled off a fantastic regular season?
I mean, his team he was the third highest scorer, so, you can't really attribute it most to luck, but, he had good seasons out of, a few of the guys that he had traded for, like he had traded for Golf and hit on a few rookies that came through for him, with Pierce and Olave, generating some points in each and every week, and then, because going into the season, it was kind of a consideration, like if he should just ship off Kelsey and kind of start a rebuild, and but hanging on to him, he had another tight end 1 year, so you can reevaluate again at the end of this year, I guess. But I don't know. I think he just won the games he needed to and got himself in position for the playoffs at least, but kind of faltered at the end.
I'll double down and say he'll be in the Waffle House Bowl next year.
Okay.
Maybe it'll be the expansion Waffle House
This is
Bowl.
not a shot at him, but you might be right, in my opinion, only because Austin, Shenwu, and Brendan, if they stay healthy, are going to be hard to keep out of the playoffs, in my opinion. So somebody's got to be dropping out of the playoffs. It clearly won't be me or the Green Machine, but the Beast and Rye Bread might have to fight. Now, the Rye Bread organization, as much as I respect and like them, they were floundering or just staying like average most of the year until they went on an incredible run at the end of the year. And I give them full credit for that. So I ask you, Ryan, on your own team, were you just like not caring, waiting and seeing what these other scrubs next to you were going to do through the year and then actually tried? How do you explain it?
You like to bet, right?
Quite a bit, yes, sir.
You're betting. If I told you you can have this bet, will the sun rise tomorrow morning? Would you take that bet?
Are you trying to equate that? Will the Rye Bread make the playoffs every year?
That's exactly what I'm trying to equate. Because it's true. Look, the Rye
Give me
Bread
the sun.
The Rye Bread has made the playoffs 9 times in a row. I don't get why teams are betting against my team. It's irrational. It doesn't make any sense. It's just like betting for the heroes to make the playoffs. It hasn't happened yet. Why would history change? That's all I have to say.
Scott, please.
I'm
What do
just,
you got?
I don't know, I'm trying to have this, what Ryan's saying, go in one ear out the other, and that's, I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of stuff hitting that wall, so I guess
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody that, Alex and Austin, right, anybody else that'll be watching, cares that Ryan has made it nine times in a row, and I think we'll all hope and try extra hard to kick his butt next year, and that streak.
Fair enough. Let's move on to another owner that, again, could not be here tonight. Mr. Cody, the Misfit organization, stunning the fantasy football world 2 years in a row. Brand new owner the other year, and he made the playoffs out of the box. And how did he do it again? 2 years in a row. Alex, please explain.
Well, I think as much as like Chris was scoring points, Cody wasn't. I don't know. He just got some good matchups and just had enough from his guys. He's kind of been leaning on the win now or kind of rebuild stage for a while, but he's just maintained enough pieces and put up enough points in some games to
For sure.
show up.
He does have some very good pieces, obviously, on his team, and he plays them well. I'm going to go around just a quick yes or no. Next season, does Cody make the playoffs?
No.
I'm gonna go no.
No.
Yes.
Because he keeps doing it every year?
I mean, you can't bet against it. Yeah.
Cody, that's a tribute to you, my friend. I mean, he's right. I don't think anybody would have picked you either year, and yet you did. So hats off to you.
But I know I said this on another podcast here, but I think we're just underrating how much shutdown defense that Cody plays. Fair fantasy. He's just better than anyone else in the league.
So for you fans in like Mongolia and like Navajo Nation in Arizona that are watching tonight and not totally familiar with how his season went, every single game he played, the team he played against scored the minimum amount of points possible. So incredible defense, as Austin points out. All right, guys. Let's go to the Super Bowl now. Scott, we have the mighty Green Machine against the mighty Rye Bread organization in the Super Bowl. Scott Hornung, what's going to happen?
Well, first off, I'd like to say we're talking about the third most significant matchup of the week behind the Waffle House Bowl and then the third place matchup.
Right,
but,
of course.
It is
As
it
far
is
as fan interest, for sure, right?
Yes, it is good to highlight the championship game as well. But I think Alex will win by, we'll say 25 points, Alex. And I think George Kittle's going to continue to rack up the points for you. Brock Purdy will be throwing his way. And maybe another big game out of Kirk and knock the Packers out of the playoffs.
Alex, what do you got?
It's gonna be tough. I think I'll need the game to be in like the 130s. To just dropped out the QB1. He's not. I highly doubtful that Hurts plays this week, which stinks. And there's not as many. Like last week, I was kind of scraping the waiver wire and plugged two guys into my lineup, and they went out and scored a few points for me. So there's not as many options for that this week. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna need Ryan to pull back a little bit. Hopefully, not as many big games from him. I'm kind of hoping that Christian Watson doesn't play, just to reduce his ceiling a little bit. Like, there's no chance that my team will score like 180 that I've had the ability to most of the season. So
Well, to help you, Cincinnati and Buffalo go head-to-head this week, correct?
Yeah.
Cincinnati, to them, this is the biggest game in probably a year and a half. So they might show up and shut Mr. Allen down. That would help you, correct?
it would. No,
So-
I mean I have Diggs, so it's
Right.
like they kind of go together. But he has Knox, so as long as no stupid last-second meaningless touchdowns to Knox happens this week, I think I might have a better chance.
Which clearly has happened in the past to get Rye Bread to where he is today. Austin, what do you got?
This is really tough. Green Machine obviously having some quarterback issues. They made a questionable trade getting rid of their best tight end earlier in the year. I think that might hurt them. But they still got great running backs. And Kirk Cousins, is he playing in prime time or not? I guess that's the question.
Don't remember.
No.
325.
Yeah.
There you go. Non-prime time Kirk. Always have to bet on that. But Rye Bread has been good all year. Well, not all year. About half the year.
It seems that way.
McCaffrey is going against the Raiders. I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of running in that game. So it's tough to say. I think a lot of it depends on the Packers because as of now, things could change. He's got 3 of them in their lineup.
Right.
And who knows how that goes.
Final prediction, who's going to win?
I think I'm going to go Rye Bread.
So far, Alex wins, Ryan wins. Are you going to bet on yourself?
I wonder what I'm gonna do. First of all, let's take a step back.
Sure.
I'm not. I do have a few things to say here about this game. I'm not going to disclose the location of where we're at, but when I walked into this location, I noticed the floors were a little bit dirty, so I had to bring something over. I had to bring the broom over to do some
Look
cleaning.
at that. Let's get that close to the camera, shall we? The Boydock sweep. Indeed. There you go. Get rid of those crumbs.
Get
I
it out.
love it. I love
Get it
it.
messy.
Scott.
Hey, Carl's been doing a good job out of here.
Carl not working?
That's right.
Keep this next.
Who would have thought that regular season I go 0-5 against the Boy Dogs, or 0-4? I don't know if I played 5 or 4 times, but I don't beat any Boy Dogs in the regular season. And what do you know? First round of the playoffs, Krispy Kreme, done. Mr. Beast in the semis, done. Green Machine coming up next. That's a tough matchup, I have to admit, but I don't see. I mean, the storyline right now. You know, my team 5 straight playoff weeks. Canceling out teams. I think we're gonna do it. I don't love some of my situations here with injuries and whatnot, but the same thing goes for the Green Machine. I see their QB2 being a huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to choose between David Blau and Jarrett Stidham,
Or not play one at all.
or not play at all. I mean, that's a choice. Like, what would you rather eat, burnt steak or raw chicken? You know, what do you want to do? What do you want to do there? I don't know. But either way, my team, I don't care about regular season wins. I don't care about being the first team to 100 wins, which will happen next year. Some wins away, by the way. I don't care about making. I don't care about making the playoffs. All I care about is winning championships. That's all I care about. I just want championships. That's what I'm gonna do. 3rd championship to the Rye Bread. 188 to 146.
Wow, you heard it here. So betting on himself, who would have thought that he would pick himself to win?
All right, so I think so. It's a tie 2-2 in terms of prediction. I think we have another special guest.
Well, 3-2 includes you. From California, the Beast.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yes, the Beast did pick, and that does count.
Okay.
So
yeah.
who's the other pick?
Well, I think we have a non-league member that just walked in.
Oh, please, bring him in.
Yeah. A non-league member, do you want to come in and give a prediction here?
The CFO of the Vegas Koalas organization, everybody, the Stash. So, Mr. Nick, we have our little press conference going on. We greatly appreciate you being here because you recommend and exemplify excellence. So, we are now talking about, first of all, the 3rd place game. Everybody in the whole world watching now and at this panel pick the Koalas to beat the Beast. You don't even have to bet on that one. That's a no-brainer. But we have a lively debate on who's going to win between the Rye Bread and the Green Machine. Who do you think?
Well, who's what are the starting QBs?
Mr. Josh Allen is the big one for him. Alex, who do you got?
David Blau.
David Blau, baby.
Well, what about the other positions?
He's at Kirk Cousins.
Okay, that's
He's my QB2.
Yeah.
demoted.
What is your instinct tell you?
After those 2 players, I gotta go with Ryan.
Oh! The Rye Bread gets another vote. And I gotta be honest, the Koalas organization is going to back by betting on the Rye Bread organization himself.
Unbelievable. Let's go. That's a lead right now, too.
Yeah.
So at this point, we've got our predictions made. We've talked about other fantastic owners in the league. Right now, I'm going to go one by one and open the floor to any topic they wish to talk about. Ryan Smith, you're up.
Totally. What top? Well, let's actually let me find something real quick. Because we voted on a set of league rules recently.
Yep.
And I would like to discuss the results of those rules. I just have to find that. So if maybe another league member could take over with the topic.
Alex, you got anything off the top of your head? Well, let me ask you this. Looking ahead to next year, the NFL draft, we've got some amazing quarterbacks and receivers in the draft coming out. Alex, is there anybody that you really are interested in that you want to share in front of everybody?
I mean, I won't be high enough to pick them, but I mean, Stroud and Young have always, I've been watching them a little bit. And I've always followed like Bijan Robinson, but
Yep.
I'm sure all those guys will be gone in the top 5, But
Well, you're not going to pick those guys because you're a fantastic team,
yeah,
basically picking last. Is that what you're trying to say?
pretty much.
true.
Unless I have Scott's pick, I don't really have a shot at those most years. But
Well, I mean, Scott does have a what we'll call a down year. However, like I said earlier, I think he's got a bright future. Scott, is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, I'll speak about the Waffle House Bowl against Johnny.
Yeah.
So I know Johnny has some experience from other leagues he's been in, and coming in last and ending up at he went to IHOP last year. So I think it'd be kind of cool for him to go back to back IHOP to Waffle House. But you know what? For me, I see this as a win-win. It's like either we get to enjoy Johnny spending time at Waffle House, or growing up, Dad, we went to Waffle House quite a bit, and I kind of enjoy Waffle House myself. So I'll enjoy some pecan waffles.
Me too,
And,
indeed.
But I have 6 rookies starting in this game, and one has already played, didn't perform well, but I'm excited for the future. I think the Dynasty Champions go from worst to first more quickly than people think.
Okay, thank you for saying
What do
the
people
way you
think?
said it.
What do people think? How quickly it's gonna happen?
Well,
2040.
yeah, you would probably think I never win. Is kind of the
So in
vibes I'm
Scott's
getting.
defense here, guys,
Yeah.
Austin Dwyer, sitting right behind me, has shown you can turn a team around from abysmal to very, very, very good within 3 years. So
I might even
definitely,
be talking about a 2-year plan.
you can talk about it all you want. Ryan, did you find what you were looking for?
Real quick, can we just get an official Dynasty Champions press statement on their future of their team, Zach Wilson? Can we get official thoughts from the DCs?
Zach Wilson, and what he has embodied this season for the New York Jets sums up the Dynasty Champions season. But Robert Saleh, coach of the Jets, has spoken very highly of him still. He's going to be a big part of the Jets' future, and as long as he is, he's going to be a big part of the Dynasty Champions' future. And if maybe he didn't. He this past off season he wasn't with enough moms. So if he can get with some more moms, then maybe we'll look for a better year next year.
A reason to like him right there.
Can I interject real quick?
Yes.
I do think Zach Wilson's ability with moms is pretty prodigious. But while he's sleeping around in the off season, Mike Vick's put in the work. He's the starting quarterback of the Jets. Future QB1. He's available for 2 first-round picks if anyone's interested. Once in a lifetime offer. He'll probably go up soon, so act fast.
His cell phone is on, guys, if you want to call him on that.
And I will say the DCs did ask for a rule change in the scoring, to where for every mom your player bangs, you get 100 points. Has it passed yet? We'll find out. Okay, you guys, the 2023 rule proposal results. Let's blow through them real quick and get this out of the way. All right, item number 1. Should we change the trade deadline? The current deadline is week 14, 7 p.m. The result is yes, and we had 9 votes for yes, so that passes. And the second part of this item, if item 1 passes, when should the new deadline be? We voted on either Wednesday night of week 12 or Wednesday night of week 13. We actually missed a response, but that is what it is. Wednesday night of week 13 had more votes. So Wednesday night of week 13 will be a later trade deadline than Thanksgiving. Should we cut the WAB to 50? It's currently 100. This one did not pass. 8 votes did not pass. We're not cutting the WAB. It's going to stay 100. Should we remove the defense special team touchdown double dip on kickoff return, punt return touchdowns, where the defense would no longer receive points, only the player would? This one did not pass. 8 votes, not in favor. Next item, should we continue to pay 4th place? Currently receives $60. This one did pass. 10 votes. Yes, we are going to continue to pay 4th place $60 as of now. All right, tennis ball adjustment for the rookie draft lottery. Should we change from the old format to the new one, which goes 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1? This one passed. 9 votes, yes, so we're changing the format to the new voting system. Should we rework the schedule to where the double matchups are based on rankings from the previous season, i.e. better teams more likely to face better teams, worse teams more likely to face worse teams? This one did not pass. 8 votes. We will not rework the schedule. It'll be random as it always has been.
Good.
Last measure. Should we increase the salary cap from 225 to 250? Would go into effect at start of 2024 season. This one did not pass.
Yes.
10 votes did not pass.
At least there's one good rule though.
Correct.
Okay. So there you guys go.
Paying
Any thoughts?
Paying fourth place. Paying for mediocrity. Ridiculous.
Whoa. How many teams are in the league? I'm sorry, how many?
12.
12. So you don't think fourth is good enough to get paid?
I'll ask you a question here. Who was the last Olympic fourth place medal?
I couldn't even name the second place.
I'm just saying. Fourth place, who gets rewarded for fourth place? Ridiculous.
I mean, it basically means that you either won a playoff game or you got a bye, which I think.
Well,
I think I voted for yes, and that's because I think you should be at least rewarded for.
I agree.
A strong enough season like
I
that.
disagree.
Okay, when the teams in our league are as good and even as they are right now, I think making fourth out of 12 is a big deal.
I think there's a lot better ways to use that $60, and I think we've only had this for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So last year and guaranteed this year, the winner of fourth place is going to be a team who won 0 playoff games. The same as me, same as Scott. I don't think that's worth rewarding. That's all I'll say.
Or one. Could be one.
But these last 2 years has been
It won't be
Yeah,
this
that's
year,
true.
for sure.
Won't be this year. Both the teams had bye.
That's fair, but I think to Alex's point, if the Beast will probably end up coming in fourth, but he went 13-1, which is a good that should be rewarded.
I still say the whole taking that, putting it towards 4 payouts for playoff home games would have been better. He still gets money there for having to buy a week.
Sure. Okay.
I don't even remember what I voted on it. I might have voted yes.
10 people voted yes. They continue paying fourth. So.
Or shame. I know I was one of the
Also, one other league member voted no. That will remain confidential.
So the one thing I did forget to ask you as a panel, Ryan, I'll start with you. Who is going to win the toilet bowl?
Who's gonna win the toilet bowl? Honestly, I've got the DCs. And if by win we mean
Win the game.
okay. I don't know if winning meant going to Waffle House or not. But I'll take the DCs on a surprise upset. I think they can get it done. Brock Purdy lighting up the Raiders, I think is very likely, and Russell Wilson crapping the bed. Broncos are in complete disarray, so wouldn't be surprised.
I've got to go Madden's Ultimate Team. I think the DCs seal the perfect season here.
Alex?
Yeah, I agree with that. Imperfect season for the DCs coming 0-15 in games. I think Madden's Ultimate Team all the way by probably 25.
Hey, like I said, it's a win-win for me. But I'll support the DCs here. Gotta go with my own team. Rookies will come through.
Yeah, I'll break the tie. Madden's Ultimate Team, you got the win, buddy. Anything else? Any of you?
Yeah. No, from a commish perspective here, guys. Live rookie draft,
Yes.
spring or summer of 2023.
Yes.
Do whatever it takes. Make your schedule open. Pretend like this is a wedding or something like that. Make it happen. Get to the live rookie draft. It's gonna be epic. 10th anniversary season.
Yep.
I'll put out a scheduling thing soon, but
Good.
do whatever it takes.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, that'd be because I still have all the cards from the last time we did it years ago, and I don't know. It's fun. I'm sure we'll talk details later if we can get it set up. But quick thinking, making trades. It'd be a fun experience and kind of a different change of pace from the videos.
Fans from around the world, that's going to wrap this one up. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day, and we will come back soon with the results of our Super Bowl.